G'day and welcome to ReDriven. Now look, I don't know if you guys are in the same boat here, but it feels like almost all of my friends are popping out kids like the future of civilization depends on it. Funny how if you lock couples indoors for months at a time, many of them end up pregnant or divorced. Anyway, apparently if you have a couple of kids and you want your kids to retain other kids as friends, this requires you to own a vehicle that can lug a small army of humans and all of their stuff around. Hence the 7-seater. But just like some kids, some 7-seaters can be excellent while others can be just utterly disappointing mistakes that you'll wish that you didn't own. So what are the best? Well, let's kick off with the Mazda CX-9. Okay, quick warning to all those hoping that this list will be chock full of 7-seat SUVs. It's not. Look, we know that 7-seat SUVs might be all of the rage at the moment. However, when it comes to lugging loads of humans and all of their stuff around, they generally suck when compared to the other vehicles coming up on this list. In saying that, we did need to have at least one 7-seat SUV on this list, and the CX-9 is the pick. Available here in Australia across 2 generations, various trim specs, and ranging in price from $8,000 to $80,000, there really should be a CX-9 to suit every flavour and budget. No matter which generation or variant of CX-9 that you're looking at, the nameplate from the very beginning offered an elegant aesthetic both inside and out that surpassed many other SUVs of the same budget. They're equipped with top shelf levels of safety and a very decent smattering of equipment and features. Plus, being a Mazda, they offer generally really good reliability and they're quite enjoyable to drive. Also, while many SUVs don't cater for child seats in the third row, the CX-9 has that covered. However, we would be avoiding the diesel-engined models and be extremely cautious when looking at first-generation examples, especially 2008 to 2012 models, as there are plenty of reports of these CX-9s suffering from transmission, transfer case, and even catastrophic engine failures. If you can, just stick with a second-generation CX-9 from 2016. Either way, just make sure you watch our ultimate used car buying guide. If you do what we take you through in that video, you could save yourself a lot of heartache and potentially thousands of dollars. The links are just up here and down there somewhere as well. But the reason that the CX-9 comes in 5th is because it's a victim of the same issues that most 7-seat SUVs suffer from. The moment that you actually want to use that third row, you instantly eat into the cargo space in the boot, so much so that some 7-seat SUVs, when in 7-seat configuration, end up offering less cargo space than that of a Mazda MX-5. Personally, I'd rather drive the MX-5 and have the kids explore the magical world of public transport, but hence why I don't have kids. Anyway, up next, it's the Toyota Alphard. Now, depending on where you're watching this from, the Alphard may be a challenge to find, but more and more are popping up internationally thanks to the grey import scene. But what are we talking about here? Basically, the Alphard sits somewhere between a minivan people mover and a luxurious private jet. It has been around since 2002 across 3 generations and is available on what feels like dozens of trim levels. Pricing here in Australia ranges from around about $17,000 to $80,000, and what these things offer for the money is incredible. Firstly, mechanically, look, it's a Toyota, so its reputation for reliability is excellent. They're available with 4 or 6-cylinder engines and even as a hybrid, so they can even be super fuel efficient too. You can have front-wheel or 4-wheel drive, and the suspension and chassis tune is set up to provide as luxurious a ride as possible. Then inside, forget about struggling to cram the kids and their friends into an SUV. Depending on the trim spec and how much you're willing to spend, the Alphard can come equipped with heated and ventilated leather-lined captain's chairs with powered reclinable ottomans that have massage functions and fold-away tables, not to mention the privacy curtains, the 18-speaker home theatre surround sound systems, and the full suite of safety features. And unlike most 7-seat SUVs, with all the seats in operation, you'll still have loads of cargo space for heaps of the kids' stuff. Honestly, this thing, it almost makes me want to have kids. Okay, next up, and only beating the Alphard because it's honestly more affordable, it's the Nissan Elgrand. Now, just like the Alphard, the Elgrand is a Japanese import, but there are far more of these on international roads than the luxurious Toyota, and therefore are generally more affordable to buy. Here in Australia, you're going to be looking at anywhere from $6,000 to about $35,000. However, we'd be recommending budgeting for over $15,000 to get a good one. The Elgrand has been around since 1997 across 3 generations, although for your north of $15,000, you will most likely be looking at the 2nd and 3rd generations that have been available in well over a dozen different trim levels, featuring front, rear wheel and all-wheel drive, and they're powered by a 2.5 litre 4 and 6-cylinder engine, or the same 3.5 litre V6 as found in the Nissan 350Z. This obviously equates to them being really enjoyable to drive, but they do like to drink. In terms of features and equipment on offer, it will vary enormously depending on the trim and your budget. However, even the earlier lower spec models are still really well equipped, while top spec later models can feature reclining captain's chairs wrapped in leather, wood trim highlighting the interior, a full suite of safety and infotainment equipment, and even though the cargo area might be a little bit smaller than the Alphard, it will still swallow up more belongings than the majority of 7-seat SUVs out there. Now, if buying a Japanese import is just a little bit scary, our second place getter should set your mind at ease. It's the Hyundai Staria, and an honourable mention to its predecessor. Seemingly transported back from a distant future, this spaceship-looking thing is the latest and greatest people mover from Hyundai. Now, I've driven one of these things, and it's honestly, it's unlike any other people mover or van I've ever experienced. Not only is it more refined than much of the competition, it feels so unique thanks to its futuristic aesthetics, enormous glasshouse, and full suite of the latest safety and infotainment technology. Pricing wise here in Australia, you're going to be looking at a little over $50,000 for the base spec example, but that is still loaded with equipment. And the range tops out at a little under $75,000 for a brand new Highlander variant, but what a special bit of gear that is. Now, if that sort of asking price is a little on the steep side, maybe checking out the Staria's predecessor is the way to go. Here, we call it the IMAX, but depending on where you're located, you may know this as the H1, or the Star X, or the Grand Star X, or the H300, or the Royale. Whatever you call it, these things are basically a commercial van fitted with a spacious and, depending on the trim spec, quite accommodating interior. However, there's no getting around that the underlying platform is feeling its age, as is the exterior and interior design. And even though it's a big unit of a thing, it doesn't offer amazing cargo space. And the third row seats are fixed, so unlike its competition, it's not great at being a transformer inside. And it's also lacking in some safety features just a little. Look, think of the IMAX as the rugged workhorse option on this list. With the petrol engine, they offer excellent reliability. If your kids or their friends are just pieces of shit, the interiors will cop an absolute flogging. And with pricing starting from around $10,000, you can pick up a bit of a bargain. Now guys, before we get to first place, look, the only way that we can keep making these videos for you is with your support, and the easiest way to support us is simply by hitting the like, subscribe and bell buttons if you're enjoying this video, and ReDriven. Oh, and share our content with your mates. That'd be awesome. And taking this list out, look, it's basically it's like the industry standard for this category. It's the Kia Carnival. Quick disclaimer here, avoid the first and second generation Carnivals if you can. Look, yes, they do have their fans, but we've found that these 1998 to 2014 models, they're just a bit shit. However, even though the much improved third and fourth generation Carnivals are our absolute picks when it comes to 7-seaters, let's be honest here, they're not the sexiest things on four wheels, are they? Actually, we do dive into their sex appeal in our full review video of the Carnival, just up here. The Carnival absolutely nails the large family car brief, with a hugely spacious interior, wide sliding doors that help the kids avoid creating any potential panel beating jobs when parked next to other cars, and a deep boot that means that you can utilise all 8 seats and still have loads of luggage space, something that no other SUV can deliver. Add to that even the earlier third-gen lower spec versions come loaded with equipment and features, the more recent models are filled to the brim with the latest tech, and both generations are showing excellent reliability and longevity, the Carnival is just a no-brainer. Pricing for base spec high kilometre third gen examples kicks off from around about $20,000, while you'll need to part with around about $90,000 for a top spec current model. Which, look, it is a lot of money, but it offers so much vehicle. And you want those kids. Come on, dickhead, slow down. But just like kids, some seven. There's no M in 7. The moment that you actually want to use that third row, you instantly eat in. Oh, fuck me, Cal's one of those days, mate. The moment that you actually want to use that third row, forget about struggling to cram the kids and their family. Forget about struggling to cram their kid in well over a dozen different trim levels, featuring. That was Jim tripping over something. Now guys, which of these would you buy, or would you still buy a 7-seat SUV? Let us know in the comments. See you next week.